Jack and the Beanstalk, the ladder of ambition. Once the mind believed heaven had dried up, it imagined a world of lack. The cows stopped giving milk, the symbol of divine supply seemingly gone. And so the story begins, not with innocence, but with scarcity. Jack's mother says, "Sell the cow." That is the moment of exile. The voice of God never said, "Fend for yourself," but the separated mind did. This is the myth of self-reliance, the lie that says the source no longer provides. The ego's economy begins right there. Sell the cow. Trade what's holy for what's useful. And at the crossroads an old man appears, the salesman of shortcuts. He offers magic beans. The Course says, the ego always speaks first. It is capricious and does not mean its maker well. Those beans are belief. The idea that faith in illusion can yield heaven's fruit. Jack takes them, not because he trusts, but because he's tired of waiting. He wants a faster way to peace. But peace cannot be climbed to. When the beans sprout, they don't grow toward God, they grow toward the sky, the symbol of ambition. The beanstalk is the ego's ladder of progress, a vertical illusion that says, up is better than down, more is better than less. It promises transcendence, but delivers only altitude in a dream. Jack climbs. The Course calls this the ego's version of evolution. Each rung is another self-improvement, another spiritual trick, another illusion of ascent. He reaches the castle in the clouds, a false heaven, complete with hierarchy, wealth, and danger. There he meets the giant's wife, indulgent compassion, the form of love without its content. She hides him, feeds him, and pities him, but still believes in fear. The Course says, the ego attracts through guilt and repels through fear. She is guilt's accomplice. Then comes the giant, the personification of guilt itself. Fee, fee, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. The giant is not sniffing for flesh, he's hunting for innocence. Guilt can't stand purity. It must accuse to stay alive. Jack becomes the thief, not of gold, but of God's gifts. He steals the golden hen, creation, the singing harp, communication, and the coins, identity. Every theft is the same act, trying to own what can only be shared. The ego says, if I can possess light, I'll never need God again. But light possessed is darkness. So Jack descends with stolen treasures, believing he's rich. He believes he has escaped guilt, but guilt is already in his hands. The Course says, you may think you have gained, but you have merely sought to lose. He wakes in his mother's house, clutching wealth that means nothing. And when the giant follows, he panics. He chops down the beanstalk. He destroys the link between illusion and awakening, thinking that by killing the shadow he can save himself. But what he calls salvation is just another cover-up. The Course says, the ego's plan for salvation centers on the body. The Holy Spirit's plan is the recognition that you are not the body. Jack didn't kill the giant. He killed communication. He cut down the very bridge that could have been used to return. And then comes guilt's echo, the wife's lament. Her sorrow rises through the clouds, calling for her lost companion. Jack hears it and feels remorse, not because he murdered a monster, but because he remembers he made it. That is the beginning of awakening. When you stop hating your giant and start grieving for it, you begin to see the projection for what it is. The Holy Spirit whispers, you climbed a dream. The real ascent is not up, but in. The true beanstalk grows downward into the mind where heaven never left. The ego's sky kingdom was never real. The castle was thought. The hen, the harp, the gold, all symbols of what you believed was lost. But you never lost creation, song, or identity. They were never yours to steal. They were yours because they were God's. The ladder of ambition collapses not in punishment, but in peace. The Course says, heaven is not reached by the way you go, but by the way you stop. The beanstalk was never a bridge to heaven, it was a vine of delay. The climb was the problem, not the path. And when Jack finally rests, not rich, not punished, just still, the giant's roar fades into silence. The sky clears. The field below shines with quiet mercy. That is the moment the dream ends. Meet Jack. He wanted heaven but settled for altitude. He climbed a ladder built of his own belief, stole a few trinkets from a giant made of guilt, and then cut the cord that might have brought him home. Somewhere between the earth and the clouds, Jack discovered what every dreamer learns too late, that the sky was never up and God was never far. The kingdom of fear just changed altitude. Heaven is not a place reached by climbing, but a memory uncovered by stillness. The cow never stopped giving milk. The mind only stopped drinking. The beans were never magic. They were belief sprouting into form. The giant was never real. He was guilt given gravity. And the ladder of ambition was only the dreamer's imagination of distance. The Course says, you travel but in dreams while safe at home in God. So climb no more, mighty companion. The harvest of peace has already come. The sky was only your ceiling of fear. And the truth, it was planted long before you ever sold the cow.